If I can, I'll get out of the country. But if they find me, I want the world to know that I stood not just for me, but for everybody else.
If I can, I'll get out of the country. But if they find me, I want them to know that I've been standing for freedom of everybody else and not just myself.
My house was raided. They beat up my wife so much. They stripped her naked and everything was on camera.
In fact, I have seen those pictures. They must be very upsetting for you to take a look at. This question is going to sound naive. Mm-hmm. Would you be open to any kind of compromise, power sharing between your National Unity Party and President Museveni's party?
The first thing I want to be is alive. The son of General Museveni, who is a general himself, has ordered for the military to look for me and deliver me dead or alive because he does not like me.
What are your hopes for Uganda?
Freedom. Freedom to live in full dignity. Freedom to think. Freedom to disagree with the powers that be and not have to run.
If you could manage to escape, you could probably lead a comfortable and honorable life, making appearances around the world in the United States and Western Europe. You ever think about that?
I do, but I don't just think about me.
Remember in life there are ups and downs. Never give in to the dictatorship, no. One day everything is gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. Someday everything will be alright. Everything's gonna be fine.
And yes, indeed, presenting to you from these United States of America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're watching me and at whatever time you might watch this conversation. My name is Mordecai Murisa, and you're welcome to Mordecai Murisa Live. Excuse me. Tremendous appreciations to all of you that keep your eyes on this channel. Asante sana. Ready to go. I've been receiving a number of messages from you people, usually folks who live outside of Uganda, folks from Zambia, Malawi, Zimbabwe, Sierra Leone, Liberia, and so many other countries, Nigeria, who follow our Ugandan politics. When I do commentary in Uganda, they'll be like, Mordecai, you're the only source of information when it comes to Ugandan politics, and now you're speaking your local dialect. I am sorry. I'll try to balance. I think I was in Boston, Massachusetts, where I met a guy. His name is Theo. He told me, Mordecai, I follow your content, but you use a lot of Luganda.
Ladies and gentlemen, whoever watches Mordecai Murisa Live, I've received a complaint from this gentleman that most of my content is in Luganda. He cannot understand me. So going forward, I'm going to make sure that I produce some content in English.
Right?
Okay?
Yeah.
And what's your name?
I'm Theo.
Theo?
Yeah.
And my brother?
Ivan.
So these two folks have complained. Going forward, English content is coming. Guys.
So I'm going to try to balance where I speak our local dialects and then English. Let's do that way. Wine on. Ladies and gentlemen, more on Bobi Wine. He recently gave an interview that I wasn't able to watch in real time or listen to. He might be planning to leave Uganda. And why? Listen. It's really, really sad that, I'm talking about Bobi Wine planning to leave Uganda. For what reason? For what crime did he commit? He's planning to flee, according to what he says in this interview I'm going to be playing you. Look, we are usually encouraged to love our country and respect its laws and rules that are enshrined ultimately in the Constitution. Unfortunately, what I've come to find out in this old age of mine is this, for the African continent, never usually comes to fruition because the people who are designed to respect the sanctity of the Constitution usually abuse it without an ounce of remorse. And us who are usually there to remind them of the importance to respect the Constitution are reduced to labels. Is a Western puppet. I usually laugh when I hear people say Mordecai is a Western. It sounds like there's some organizations in the USA or in Western Europe who fund my work. Nobody, zero. I don't even have advertisers on this show. So they usually reduce us to Western puppets. And if we're not Western puppets, then we are enemies of peace. We are called terrorists by the president of Uganda. It's very sad. But that won't actually stop me from doing what I'm doing. All I'm saying is it's wrong to abduct people. It is extremely against the law to disappear people, to senselessly kill innocent people. Even when they're guilty, you don't have a permission to decide who should die and not. It is wrong for a president to demonize people who are against him. I think recently he was given a speech and said that two types of opposition groups in Uganda. One of them, it is the lazy Ugandans who are confused, and the other are terrorists. Really? He doesn't believe in alternative ideas. He believes that he's the only one who's got a vision of what direction Uganda should take. Now, that really tells you about how egotistical Yoweri Museveni is. That's not news to me. I've known him to be that. But when he has that temerity and gall to say that in public, that really exposes him. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there was an interview Bobi Wine had recently, and that's what I'm going to be playing you. There's no, I think was interviewed by this platform called Jaira Reports. I think this is one of the most assertive interview Bobi Wine has had in quite some time. Listen to here.
I'm going to speak now with Bobi Wine. The Ugandan opposition leader has been in hiding since January 15 and the presidential election in which the former musician was the most prominent candidate to run against six-term President Yoweri Museveni, who has claimed victory with nearly 72% of the vote. Bobi Wine rejects that result. Ugandan soldiers raided his family's home late last week looking for him. His wife, Barbara, says she was roughed up by soldiers at their home and had to be hospitalized. Bobi Wine joins us now. Can you say where you are, Mr. Wine?
Unfortunately, I cannot say where I am because it's dangerous for me. I am being pursued by the military and police and all security agencies, although they've not mentioned my crime. My house was raided. They beat up my wife so much. They stripped her naked and everything was on camera.
In fact, I have seen those pictures. They must be very upsetting for you to take a look at.
I'm sorry for pausing here, but I want to really put this into context. They raided Bobi Wine's home where he left his wife when he fled from that operation where they wanted to abduct him. And a few days after that, they broke into Bobi Wine's bedroom, stripped naked his wife, took pictures of her, and Muhoozi Kainerugaba, the commander of our defense forces, gloated about the same on his social media platform. There's a certain level of insanity that makes people do those kind of things.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate. All that was meant to humiliate my wife and to humiliate my family members, and all the people that were home were beaten up by the military.
I have to ask you about the election. You do not accept the results. Why?
We do not accept the results because they are not anywhere near what happened. We defeated General Museveni and we have evidence to that. But even that on the side, there was widespread ballot stuffing. The internet was switched off, which is illegal, and a majority of our agents were abducted. As we speak right now, my deputy president for Northern Uganda, Dr. Lina Zedriga, was abducted on the 15th of January, and she is missing over 2 weeks. My deputy president of Western Uganda, Jolie Jacqueline Tukamshaba, was also abducted, and she is still missing. Thousands of our people have been arrested, and others continue to be arrested.
Let me contextualize this because you might feel a little bit contradicted. Yes, two deputy presidents to Bobi Wine were abducted. Deputy president for NUP for Western Uganda, Jolie Jacqueline Tukamushaba, was abducted, and then deputy president for the NUP, the political party Bobi Wine leads, was abducted, and her name is Rina Zedriga. When asked about the whereabouts of these two people, the military said they had checked all detention facilities, they had torture chambers, and they were nowhere to be seen. Actually, the acting spokesperson of the Uganda military, Chris Magezi, came out and said, NUP is involved in playing a lot of drama. We do not have them. Only for the same people who denied the whereabouts of the couple to arraign them in the courts of law and charge them with incitement to violence. Unbelievable. After denying, we don't know where they are. Oh, my Lord.
This question is going to sound naive. Mm-hmm. Would you be open to any kind of compromise, power sharing between your National Unity Party and President Museveni's party?
The first thing I want to be is alive. The son of General Museveni, who is a general himself, has ordered for the military to look for me and deliver me dead or alive because he does not like me. I am not an outlaw. I have not committed any crime. He has threatened to find me and kill me. He has threatened to castrate me. So we cannot have a conversation when a boot is on my neck, when I'm being chased to be killed.
Exactly. Hey, that's a mic drop right there. I've always heard people say, Bobi Wine has got to sit on a round table with Museveni and talk as adults. Talk about what? Under what circumstances do you want this conversation to happen? When Bobi Wine's friends, supporters are still held incommunicado, many have been disappeared and many murdered. What kind of conversation? And if Bobi Wine was going to accept the power sharing, what is he giving Museveni for Museveni to give him power? There's a number of people who have been abducted. Many disappeared to this day, vanished in the middle of the night. We do not know where they are. So usually when I hear people talk about power sharing, Bobi Wine, how about Bobi Wine is considered for a position of a prime minister or vice president in this hybrid regime of Museveni? I usually laugh off. I'm triggered to emotions of anger. I'm like, what are you even talking about? At this moment, Bobi Wine is being handed down, not because he committed any crime, because he ran against Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. And you want them to sit on a table and talk about sharing power? Come on, really?
Mr. Wine, what would you like other countries in the world, and maybe specifically the United States, to do?
The United States is our partner in development in many things, including security. My question is this what they signed up to partner with? My call to them has always been not to be facilitators and enablers of this injustice and criminality. The United States has always put sanctions to human rights violators. It is my hope and prayer that they will realize that there is gross human rights violation in Uganda, and maybe they will put sanctions and other laws that they can evoke. My hope and prayer is that they will evoke them.
Mm-hmm. What are your hopes for Uganda?
Freedom. Freedom to live in full dignity. Freedom to think. Freedom to disagree with the powers that be and not have to run. The freedom to be able to be a father to my children, especially my youngest daughter.
Yes.
The freedom to run for president and not expect death threats. Yeah. The freedom to leave my wife home and to know that I will find her safe. The freedom to live in my own house.
If you could manage to escape, you could probably lead a comfortable and honorable life, making appearances around the world in the United States and Western Europe. You ever think about that?
I do, but I don't just think about me, Scott. Like I told you, my two deputy presidents are missing. There are hundreds of innocent people that are missing. So while I fight this, I'm not looking only at my plight. I'm looking at the plight of all these other people. Yes, I want to be free. Yes, I want to continue the fight. Yes, I want to speak to the world. But at the same time, I want everybody else to get their freedom. I want everybody else to be safe. If I can, I'll get out of the country. But if they find me, I want the world to know that I stood not just for me, but for everybody else.
If I can, I'll get out of the country. But if they find me, I want them to know that I've been standing for freedom of everybody else and not just myself. Incredible. That is selflessness in and of itself. Now, that really is Chinese to the Museveni dictatorial machinery. They do not understand serving interests that go beyond yourself. That's why they look at Bobi Wine as an outlaw. It is really sad. Pretty much, like I've always argued, there's so many African leaders who do not respect the sanctity of the rule of law, of democracy, of constitutionalism. They don't believe in all that. All they care about is the consolidation of power. And the moment you introduce topics such as democracy, they are usually ready to attack, be like, oh, that's a Western concept. Then you'll be like, okay, will you tell us an African concept that doesn't involve killing people, disappearing them? Like you have a lady in Tanzania who switched off the internet and killed over 5,000 people. Hello. And she wants us to look at her as an African liberator or some sort of a visionary leader for the Tanzanian people. She's a murderer, a dictator, 2.0. And I know I'm speaking to you. I don't know where you're watching from, but if you're Ugandan, I want to let you know, do not lose hope. Things are going to change. And with that said, I want to play you these words of Bobi Wine as I come to the end of this conversation. He was being interviewed by his party's podcast, and this is what he had to say.
To the Ugandans out there, hope is the most important thing that we must never lose. Let us keep the hope alive. A new Uganda is possible. A new Uganda is coming. A new Uganda is in your hands. We can actually get there. We can actually redefine ourselves. But that redefining this country begins by redefining ourselves, telling ourselves that we are not losers, that we are winners, that we are not slaves, we are free people.
Exactly.
That we are not here temporarily, we are here permanently. That we are not different, we are the same. That, you know, we are equal. But also telling you that the confidence that you have in yourself and that you put in people is the wealthiest thing that you can have or give. Have it in yourself. Also looking at me, I'm not any different from anybody else. You know, it's just knowing what you deserve and having the courage to demand for it and the moral courage to connect with other people. So I just want to ask the Ugandans, especially young Ugandans, and no disrespect to the elders, but the young Ugandans now need to have a common mind, a mind of better, a mind of self-worth, a mind of dignity for everybody by beginning with yourself. Are you comfortable where you are? If you're not, do something about it.
Do something about it. Are you comfortable? I like it when he says it's not any different from you and I. But the most important word of all he said are these words. Hope. As Martin Luther King reminds us that we must accept the finite disappointment, but never lose the infinite hope. Hope. Let's keep that hope alive. And with that said, I think I should stop here. How about that? But hey, I'll leave you with a song. It's again Bobi Wine who tells us One day everything's gonna be alright. Everything will be alright. Are you ready? Let's enjoy this one. Listen here.
One day everything is gonna be fine.
Everything's gonna be fine.
Someday everything will be alright. Remember your pain is not in vain. That is how we get the experience. What doesn't kill you makes you strong. Never give in to the negativity. One day we will look back and smile, and we shall have a story to tell. Endurance, perseverance, the harder the squeeze, the sweeter the juicy. Where there's no pain, there is no gain. Victory never come easy. Remember in life there are ups and downs. Never give in to the dictatorship, no. One day everything is gonna be fine.
Everything's gonna be fine.
Someday everything will be alright.
Everything's gonna be fine.
London, everything is gonna be fine. Someday everything will be alright. Someday everything is gonna be fine.
Everything's gonna be fine.
One day everything will be alright.